Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. Can you hear me? First ever edition of our Thursday sports session with Nugget. How are we all doing today? Here we go. We are live. We've got our Thursday sports session with Nugget. Haven't got a name yet, so we're just easing into our Thursday sports sessions. Hopefully down the track, we'll get some guests in. We'll get some, we've got, obviously, if you've been watching our other podcast, which is we always run live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Arvos around 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now, I say around because very rarely we're on time. So we try our best, but, other shit comes up during the day that we have to, kind of look after and manage. But if you're watching, if you're live on the stream, if you're live on the YouTube, let us know. Give us a comment. I've got them up, so I'll respond to comments and that sort of stuff. If we get a live viewer, I know it's our first ever Thursday session. It's Nuggets Sports Thursdays. Now, what we got going today? As I said, down the track, we will be getting some guests in. We've got Crowley, who's the NHL specialist, which will be we'll kind of go through some NHL today as well. We got Josh McGuinness, who's been calling in on our Fancy Frothy Fridays. Sometimes might get him in. He'll also be with us tomorrow, Fancy Frothy Friday, to speak about all things racing. It's a big weeks coming up, or we're leading up into the huge weeks of racing moving forward. We've got this week we got the Caulfield Cup. Next week we got Cox Plate. Then we've got Derby Day. Then we've got Melbourne Cup, Oaks Day, Stakes Day. So the Spring Carnival is live and well here in Melbourne. But what are we going to run through first? We touched on it a little bit yesterday, but we'll run through Aaron Rodgers, just the kind of speed in which he's recovering. So Aaron Rodgers, formerly of the Green Bay Packers, moved to the New York Jets this year. Was kind of a big acquisition for them because their defense is unbelievable. So he's moved over to the Jets. First series of play, I think it was like the fourth play he ran, snapped the Achilles, tore it off like he did. Everyone saw what he did. He went down, normally a 9 to 12 month injury, but he's back walking, he's back throwing. So we'll get into that. What the hell is going on with James Harden? He's at it again. So bit of a backstory. We'll get into that, but bloody hell, he's gone missing from the Philadelphia 76ers practice. Apparently he's been spotted in Houston, so he loves it down in Houston. So what the hell's going on with him? Someone let me know what the hell's going on there. We've got the favourites in the basketball. We're going to cover the basketball. Starts in about a week's time on Wednesday. So we'll go through, the top, maybe the top 20 rankings of who they've ranked as the best players. We'll go through a little bit of who we think is going to win, or who I think might challenge for the NBA title moving forward. Might give some predictions, that sort of thing. A bit of NFL. I'm going to have a little punt on the NFL tomorrow, see how we go there. And we might try to call in Crowley, and we'll see how we go. But we've got the NHL as well. The Golden Knights can't be stopped. They haven't lost a game. That's my team. Go Knights, go. So yeah, let's start with James Harden. So if you're around the sports news or the NBA news, James Harden, he's kind of forced his way out of Houston first up when he was with the Rockets. So obviously previously he started with OKC, got traded to Houston, was there for a while, had a good run there, didn't quite get over the hump of Golden State, but then he forced his way. If he put on the fat suit, they reckon, for preseason, got fat, didn't, just kind of went there, didn't want to train, didn't want to do his thing, forced his way out of Houston, lands in Brooklyn, same thing goes there, does his little thing for a year or so, then he asked for another trade to get out of there, gets traded to the 76ers last year, ends up playing a bit with Embiid, they make it to the second round, they get bounced out, they lose game 6, game 7, in pretty embarrassing style. They both didn't show up, but now, and then over the offseason, I'm not sure if you heard, James Harden has called Daryl Morey, who's the Philadelphia 76ers general manager, I'm pretty sure, and he's called him a liar. He said, Daryl Morey, you're a liar. And that was in live. He was in China when he said it, so he was on stage in front of everyone. So obviously knew he was gonna get out, but pretty well. What happened was, so what I'm hearing, this is what I'm hearing from the sources, is that Harden wants to be a Clipper. So he wants to go to LA Clippers. He wants to get with Paul George. He wants to get with Kawhi Leonard. He wants to get the crew over there, try to win a chip in LA. So apparently he's chatting to them, trying to get to LA. The 76ers have heard about this, and they've said, well, if you don't want to be here, stuff ya. You're not getting your cash. You're not getting your money. You're not getting your max deal worth about 200 mil. You're not getting it, mate. So he's hooked up because they agreed, in the handshake deal that he was going to get his max deal. Didn't happen. So now he's not happy. He's obviously called Daryl Morey a liar. Tensions are high. Everyone's not happy, but so he showed up early, kind of did his thing at the Philadelphia 76ers training session. Things were going okay. There was no dramas. And then the last couple of days, he's just not showed up to practice. They don't know where he is, but apparently he's been spotted in Houston. Some say he's at the strippers. I'm not sure. He might be, might not be, but not sure what's going to go on. So he'll have to come back because there's a rule in his contract, or it must be like a CBA agreement, whatever they call it. That if you don't turn up to do your role, if you're not injured and that sort of stuff, he can be, because he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. But it's weird. He needs to get traded to get his max deal. He has to get traded, and then he gets his max deal, gets his cash. If he doesn't get traded and then he leaves next year, he can't get as much as what he would get if he gets traded. So a bit of a weird thing. But then also, if he doesn't show up and work with the 76ers and play and do that sort of stuff, or if he doesn't just show up, he doesn't have to play, but he has to be there, he can, something happens in the agreement where he doesn't get to become a free agent. So there's a bit happening. If anyone in the comments knows more about this, let me know. But it's going to be harder because there's only one live viewer, and that's myself. So there we go. So moving on into we'll go NFL. We'll go NFL. I'll pick the team who's going to win tomorrow. Who's going to cover the spread. We'll see what the line is, who we have tomorrow in the NFL. We've got New Orleans Saints, so that's they're going okay. I think they're 3-3 against the Jaguars. So the Jaguars are on fire. So this is an important game for both teams. New Orleans Saints, they probably need a win to stay in the mix in their conference. Jaguars 4-2. They're looking pretty good. If you want to look at the preview, you can see that. But what I want to know is I want to get because I'm leaning towards the Jaguars. They've been good. I'm going to get up Sportsbet, bit of a plug. We're not sponsored by Sportsbet, but a bit of a plug. I'm going to check what the NFL odds are for Sportsbet. And, well, you can be any sort of, doesn't have to be Sportsbet, whatever it is. But I'm going to see what the line is. So, you know what? It's very close. So it's Jacksonville Jaguars at New Orleans Saints. My man who Derek Carr, who was at my team, the Las Vegas Raiders, last year, hasn't been lighting the world on fire, but came good last week. I think he had over 300 yards. He was they said he was throwing not bad. So this is what the live odds at the moment. We've got Jacksonville Jaguars $1.98, New Orleans Saints $1.83. So for me, I like a bit of a roughie. I'm going to go the spread. So let's see what we can get. We're getting +1.5 for the Jaguars. So pretty well, unless you lose by a point, you're probably taking them to win. But I'm going to take Jacksonville Jaguars at +1.5. For my first ever bet live on the pod. We'll keep a track on how it goes. So you get $1.86 for +1.5, or if you want to get greedy, $1.98 for the win. So depending what you're looking at, Jacksonville have been huge, 4-2. As I said, they're playing well. Defense looks strong. New Orleans Saints, they're 3-3. They're going okay. Derek Carr has been okay. They reckon he hasn't been too good at the start of the year, but. He came good last week. As I said, he threw for 300 or so yards. Let me get that up so we can see how much what he threw for. So they lost to the Texans by 7 last week. But yeah, Derek Carr, 32 of 50, 353 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Moving back against the Patriots, he had 183 yards, 2 touchdowns with a quarterback rating of 114. So that was his best game against the Patriots. Obviously, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, always handy. And then had a bit of an average game against the Buccaneers. So he's trying to just find his feet in the Saints at the moment. And then the Jags, they're on fire. So 4-2. I don't think anyone expected them to be 4-2 at the moment. So let's click on there and see how they've been going and who they've played recently and what's been going on. So last game they beat the Colts 37-20, an absolute smashing. So Trevor Lawrence, he's been just okay. So some people are saying he's not he's not living up to his potential at the moment, but they're 4-2. So what more do you want? Let's click into the game, see how else he's been going. So 37, they beat the Bills by 5, which is a big game. He threw for 25 out of 37, 315 yards, 1 touchdown. Geez, that's a good game. I don't know what's going on. I think he might be a bit up and down, and they were comparing his stats the other day to when he first came into the league compared to where he is now, and it all seems pretty similar. So they're not seeing that growth they wanted to. But I'll run through his stats because he's 181 yards last week against the Colts. QBR, quarterback rating, I think they call it, of a 91, which is not too bad. Then he went for 315 against the Bills at a 102 QBR, which is not bad. He's hit them well. So 207 yards, 76% completion. And so he's 7 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, which I think is not easy. His QBR's an average of 92. So I'd be hopping on. I think the defense looks good at the Jaguars. So for me, first bet, +1.5 Jaguars. Let's see how we go tomorrow. I'll follow it closely. Let us know. Let us know what you think. So, and moving. While we're on NFL, let's move into Aaron Rodgers. So we covered this yesterday. Now I don't know if anyone's seen this, but Aaron Rodgers. So 5 weeks ago, tore his Achilles, which is, usually, especially he's 39 years old. He's been on, if you love your podcast, that sort of stuff, Pat McAfee gets him on every Tuesday, and he obviously talks about how he's going. But there's footage of him walking without any assistance, so no crutches, no nothing, and throwing the ball, kind of transferring weight from one foot to the other, just last week on whenever they played. So, this is crazy. So this is huge because obviously he went from Green Bay. He was there at Green Bay his whole sort of career. Then kind of the Jets picked him up in free agency. I'm pretty sure it might have got traded, but I think it was free agency. The Jets are their defense is crazy good. So Rodgers coming back. If he can get back, do his thing. Some people are saying, some shows, ESPN, they reckon, like Pat McAfee, that sort of stuff, they reckon he's coming back. The other shows, your first things first, that sort of stuff, they reckon there's no chance he's coming back. So it's hard to know where he is at this stage. But if he comes back, it's one of the craziest kind of recovery, because back in the day, maybe let's say 5 to 10 years ago, you do your Achilles, minimum 9 to 12 months. It's kind of like an ACL injury. You 9 to 12 months, you're out, you're rehab. Sometimes back in the day, you wouldn't take your boot off for 3 months before you even put any weight bearing on it. Now, he's 5 weeks in. He's walking around with no crutches. He's throwing the ball. Could be the greatest recovery of all time. I want to get maybe like a physio or, someone who knows about this injury and just kind of how crazy it is and what he's doing. Because, for some of us out here who don't have the cash or what's he doing? How's he doing this? If we get an injury, we're dust. The ball, if I happen to tear my Achilles tomorrow, I'm not getting that sort of quality recovery. I'm in a moon boot for 4 months. I can't move for 12 months. No sport for 16 months. But Rodgers, 5 weeks out, He's throwing the damn pigskin around. Good stuff. So that's where we're at with Rodgers. So it'll be interesting to kind of see where he's at. We'll track his progress, see where he's at. But if he comes back, as I said, one of the crazy comeback stories of all time. So moving on to a bit of cricket action. And is anyone watching the World Cup? The World Cup's on. The Aussies absolutely stink. What the hell's going on? So if anyone is watching that, I haven't watched one single ball, but I've just kind of been keeping up to date with what's been, how we're looking. So we've got we've got Pakistan tomorrow, 7:30 start. We need a win. So apparently we need to win the next. And the way they do the Cricket World Cup, who the hell wants to watch? They instead of breaking off into 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups like they do in the Soccer World Cup or any other World Cup that they do, or like in the Olympics, that sort of thing, each teams plays each other once, which I don't mind that in theory, but then there's so many teams in it. It's like 10 games we got to play before, and then the top 4 go into like a sudden death playoff, whatever, on a finals type operation. So for me, I don't like that. Let's get the Cricket World Cup similar, groups of 4, play 3 games, then, let's maybe make it, let's say there's, I think there's 10, let's make it, how would you work that? 4, we need 12 teams if we can, 3 groups of 12, then, top 3 or top 4 from each, how would we do that? That's an issue. You have to work out the math. But let's do it that we don't have to play 9 or 10 different games. It's just too long, especially for these one days. Is anyone actually watching one days anymore? Or are we all just watching 2020s and test matches? And if you do watch it, let me know, because I want to hear your side of the story. But for me, who used to love cricket, I used to love cricket back in the day, I'm not watching it. So I don't think the conditions are favouring us. It's in India. That's not us. So we pretty much need to win the next 5 or 6 games. And we've got a few toughies coming up. But we're sneaky, because you get, if we get Pakistan tomorrow, who we had the warm-up match with them, we scored 350. They made 337, so that must have been an absolute road wherever we were playing there. But if we win against Pakistan tomorrow, then we'll beat Netherlands, and then we've also got Afghanistan, we've got Bangladesh. So there's 2 winnable ones, and then we just need to win 1 or maybe 2 of New Zealand or England. So, we're not out of it, but we need to just keep piling up the wins over the next few. So we've got a game tomorrow. If you're obviously an Aussie fan, you got a game tomorrow. Wednesday, 25th of October, we're against the Netherlands. New Zealand, the 28th of October. And England, the 4th November. See, it just goes for so long. Goodness me. And our last game's the 11th of November against the Bangladesh. So who the hell's going to be watching it by then? So, yeah, that's the cricket news. How's my man Smitty going? I know he got that one of the, that's what I want to discuss as well. I saw footage of Smith going out LBW. The ball looked like it was missing leg stump by 2 extra stumps. Looks like it was bloody almost hitting fine leg on the shin. It was so far down leg side. But yeah, that's just where the World Cup is at the moment. So we've got NFL now. The big news and my favourite sport currently, now that AFL footy's gone, NFL's gone, which is always good. But we've got the NBA starting on Wednesday next week. So the opening, I'll get the opening games up, but first I want to go through who they've got, who the players are, and down the track, next week and moving forward, we'll get the what you see, what I'm seeing on the screen. We'll chuck that up there. We'll get it involved so you can kind of see as well. But this is the first one. We're just getting the kinks out. Hopefully we get a guest on, because just talking for 30 minutes yourself can get quite monotonous, if that's the word. So, yeah. So the top NBA player rankings according to The Ringer. So they've ranked their top. We'll go through the top 20. So I'll start from 20, work my way down. Paul George, absolute gun. If he can keep healthy, and if him and Kawhi can stay healthy, there with Westbrook. They're a big show. So the West is absolutely stacked. The West, you got Nuggets, obviously the reigning champions. You got the Phoenix Suns, who have added Bradley Beal. So they've got Booker, Beal, Durant. They have added Nurkic. How do you say that? Yusuf Nurkic from Portland. So he's a gun. They've got a little bit more depth. So they're going to be a tough beat. You've also obviously got the Lakers, my team, LeBron, the greatest of all time, obviously. Him. They had probably one of the better off seasons. Kind of signed who they wanted to. So they kept who they wanted to. Sign a couple of pieces that will complement LeBron. They got a lot of shooting. They got a lot of depth. So that's going to help really, especially with the age of LeBron. AD's he's a bit of a walk-in injury type operation. So even when those two aren't playing, so when LeBron and AD aren't playing, they'll still be good. And, they've got the new rule in. They've got the agreement where, to make the all-NBA teams and to make the, if you want to win the MVP, that sort of stuff, you got to play 65 games. So it'll be interesting to see how many of these players play 65 games, especially the likes of LeBron, AD, Kawhi, Paul George, Kevin Durant, those sort of guys who are getting a bit older, Steph. Moving forward, they've got Memphis Grizzlies as well, who are absolutely guns. So we've got Ja Morant, who's 19th, which is bizarre considering he's missing 25 games or something. So he's a gun when he's playing. One of the most athletic dudes you'll see. Can jump through the roof, dunks on people. Just an absolute highlight machine. So if you're going to watch basketball, Memphis is not bad. And they've kind of added a few pieces. I think Marcus Smart went there. Obviously, they'll get back Steven Adams and Brendan Claxton. What's his name? Whoever it is, they had a bit of injuries, so those are some solid things. I've got a chat. Solid. Those are some solid low. Oh, yeah, I know. Sorry, you have a baby and they play with the shades and they end up ruining your shades. These are actually Asho's and not mine. So, but thanks for that comment. Keep them coming. I love to interact. So number 19, Ja. Number 18, Anthony Edwards. What an off season he had. He looks good. He is charismatic as hell. He's funny as. If you watch that movie with him and Sandler, what's that one called? Can't remember, but give it a watch on Netflix. Very, very good show. I'm worried about me slope shades. But, it's a bit light in here with all the light and stuff getting directly AA. You need the shades on in here. He's been, he dominated for the US, even though they didn't win gold in their world championships. Sorry. He looked really good. So Minnesota are going to be good. They've got the two big fellas. They've got Anthony Edwards, and they got old big fella. What are their names? Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. So they've got the big fellas plus him. They're going to be good. And then another West team, Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox. Now, he probably had his breakout year last year. He's 25 years old, season 7, but took him to the playoffs. He ran into just an unbelievable player in Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time. So not much you could do there, but De'Aaron Fox 17, Donovan Mitchell 16, very, very good player. Kind of went to the Cavs. They made some noise. Hopefully they can do a bit more. And the East, besides Boston and Milwaukee, may be wide open. Miami, you say this every year, but do you reckon they've slipped a bit? They might not make it. But Jimmy's out for redemption. So I wonder what number they got Jimmy Butler here, because he often gets overlooked, which is pretty rough. And then you got Jamal Murray, who he was on fire in the playoffs last year. He really cooked up. And they've got some stuff down. He's a pull-up threat, clutch gene, finisher, floor general. So yes, very good player. That's probably right having him at 15. Damian Lillard at 14, that seems low. This guy's an absolute gun. I guess playing at Portland didn't help. But now he's at Milwaukee with him and, what are they calling him? Greek time? No, Freak time. I think they're calling it Freak time. That's the Greek Freak and Dame time together. They're calling them Freak time. They're going to be unbelievable. That'll be must-watch TV. They are the favourites this year, and like deservingly so. They've got the Greek freak. They got Giannis, who might be the number one player in the world right now. Him or Joker. And then you got Dame, but you've got Chris Middleton as well. The Lopez brothers, like they're stacked. So they're going to be hard to beat. Kawhi Leonard at 13. What the hell's going on? Oh my goodness. When he plays, unbelievable, but he never plays. So imagine putting that at 13. That is bizarre. Bizarre. You got to be. There must be a rule on how many games he played. He's always injured when the finals. So what the hell? They got LeBron at 12. What am I watching here? Who's rating this shit? The GOAT, number 12, just fresh off taking the Lakers, him and AD, but you could argue that he was the best player on that team. His baby and Dylan Brooks, all that sort of stuff that we saw. What the hell is going on that he is number 12? It says potential GOAT, which is incorrect because he is the GOAT. He's just so good. The Swiss Army knife, they call him. Still doing it. Year 21. Big year. He's looking good. Lakers are going to be good. So number 12, that is appalling. Who the hell's putting LeBron at number 12? Disaster. Anthony Davis, number 11. So we got 11 and 12. Now, they rumor has it, is Anthony Davis, he's been in the weight room. He's looking good preseason, but he's he's got something to prove after they think he's a bit of a bit soft. He's not pulling his weight, all that sort of stuff. He's very injury prone, but he's out to prove that he's still got it. So what are they saying? Well, one, he just probably, if he can get more consistent, he was a bit of that, what do they call him? The roller coaster. One time he's up here, next he's down here. He's up. But, we think that, I'm thinking I'm very high on the Lakers. Stay tuned for who I think is going to win the NBA championship. Number 10, Shai Gilgeous. How do you say it? Gilgeous Alexander from OKC. Young buck, 25. Absolute gun. So OKC, they're going to be ones to watch. They've Giddy looks good. They've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They've got about 4,000 number one picks. So watch out for them this year. They're gonna ruffle a few feathers, as they say in the world. Do they say that? I don't know. But yeah, we got Devin Book. Now, he should be ahead of KD. He was better than KD in the playoffs last year. He was obviously their number one go-to guy. I'm not sure what happened to KD. No disrespect to KD. 2 times Finals MVP, that sort of stuff. But Devin Booker was their go-to guy moving into the playoffs last year. It could look like KD was kind of deferring to Booker, and they reckon he's a killer. So the Suns are going to be awesome anyway. They've got Devin Booker. They've got KD, as I said, Bradley Beal. They're stacked. There we got Jimmy Butler, or Emo Jimmy, as they say. He didn't get his mate Dame to the side. And then the Celtics got, who did they get? Drew Holiday. So Miami did nothing. I'm not sure what the hell was going on in Miami this offseason, but they weren't it. They weren't it. And for me, there was just an opportunity missed. But you just can't write those dudes off because Jimmy is a walking bucket. They don't call him buckets for no reason. KD, number 7, I spoke about that before. I think he should be behind Devin Booker. So very, very, they're kind of, I feel like 35 this year, 17. So he's getting a bit older. They say he doesn't like the physical contact. But, we got Joel Embiid, number 6, reigning MVP. What the hell's going on here? Very, very disrespectful. Age 29, just right smack bang in the prime of his career. And I'm looking at him at number 6, fresh off winning his MVP. The disrespect, whoever did this, that's disrespectful. What the hell's going on in Philly? As I said, James Harden's gone AWOL. No one knows where he is, except there've been rumors. He's at the strippers, as we said. All right, so number 6, I can't believe they put him at 6. That's bizarre. because offensive and defensively he's very, very good. Jason Tatum. So no way Tatum's better than Joel Embiid at this stage. No way. They've been to... Although that is the criticism on Joel Embiid, is that they haven't been to a conference finals during his time. So maybe, that could be fair. Maybe they're saying, hey, we need you to show us that you can get past the second round of the finals, or the playoffs. Jason Tatum, he's 25, so he's kind of just... It's crazy to think how long he's been in the league and how good he's been. They've always been thereabouts since he's been in the league. Even back when they were playing LeBron, that was 2018. So I think that's 5-6 years ago, and that was like the coming of age. So whenever that was, he was probably 19, 20 at that stage, and now he's just been better and better each year. They've got Jaylen Brown. They've just picked up Drew Holiday. They've got Porzingis. Their team's stacked. So I think they're either dual favourites or just a close second to Milwaukee. So, which is fair enough because they are stacked. Luka. Now, Luka's a dead set gun. I would not have him this high though. Obviously, offensive talent, one of the great offensive players of all time. He's only 24, but he's already there. Walking triple dubs, but couldn't catch a cold. We couldn't defend water if it hit the ground. Now, what's the? There is a saying there. Someone let me know what that saying is. But he's defending what lacks it. But bloody hell, is he good on the offensive end? So it'll be interesting to see how him and Kyrie work together now that they've had an off season to kind of work out who's going to do what. But yeah, if they can work out their stuff on the defensive end, they can do okay. And then you got number 3, Steph Wardell Curry, the greatest shooter of all time. The dude's got unbelievable ball handling. His movement off the ball is crazy. I would love to see just what he's like. I don't know if they train like this and how they train in basketball. Like his best ever 2K run or whatever. Like the aerobic tests that they do. I'm sure I can find it at some stage. I might look into that for next week. But just to see what he's kind of like, his aerobic capacity. The dude doesn't stop running all day. So, he's looking good at number 3. I don't mind that. He's getting a bit old. His defense is he's put on a bit of size, but he's not the best defender. Then you got Giannis at 2. So that means Joker's number 1, which I don't mind. Obviously, Giannis probably been the best for the last couple of years. But, kind of fell away. I think it was last year where he was missing all those free throws and hacky Giannis, they reckon. So needs to work on his free throws, but now he's got a closer in Dame. So that it's just those two together. It's a match made in heaven. I'm telling you, they're going to look good. Nikola Jokic, the Joker, fresh off Finals MVP, just running into the age 28, who's just right smack bam in his prime. Of it, a bit of a liability, not liability because he's tall and stuff, but he's not that good on defense. So if you offensively, unbelievable though, passing, court vision, shooting at the rim, all that sort of stuff. So he's fresh. He's finals MVP. Deserves to be 2-time MVP as well. So he deserves to be number 1. Happy with that top 2. Steph's high, but I like that. I'd probably put Lebs up a bit higher. I'd drop KD below Devin Booker. But, not a bad list. Let us know what your thoughts on that list was. And then, next week we'll get so you can see what I'm saying as well. So that'll be good. So there we go. I think that'll probably do us for today. Before I go, I will just put in my NBA who I think will make the playoffs. I'll just do top 4 in each conference. So I think in the West, we're going to have Lakers, or we'll have Denver, Lakers, Suns, and who's going to be my 4th? Memphis look pretty good. Who do we have there? Well, that'll be my top 3. We'll go Denver, Lakers, Suns as top 3. And then in the East, we'll go Celtics, Bucks, and they might not look that good early on, But the Heat are they're always quality, but the Cavs are gonna look good. The Knicks are okay. The East is nowhere near as deep as the West. I'm sure I'm missing a team, but that's where I'm at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how we go. So we've got 76ers. Who else do we have? Oh, the Warriors. Oh, yeah, so I didn't even speak about the Warriors. They are, just acquired CP3. I'm not sure how they'll go. Maybe I'll put them in my top 4 on the West. Maybe. Yeah, no, they're good. I'll go what? Yeah, so Warriors top 4. Warriors, Lakers. Warriors 4th. Suns 3rd. Nuggets 2. Lakers 1. That's my top 4. And in the East, we got Bucks 1. Celtics 2. Let's go. Oh, it's tough. I'm going to go Cavaliers 3. Heat 4. See, the Nets are just, the 76ers, you just don't know what's going on with Harden. But there it is. That's my predictions for the NBA starting next Wednesday. Looking forward to it. We'll get some guests on next week. This is just a little precursor to see how long you can talk for without anyone else being around. So that'll do me signing off. Thursday sports session with Nug. We'll get a name for it next week as well. We've got a few banners. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.